into the archive to listen to the moment before a legend was born. This is Conchita in the latest episode of The Interview. It's a good afternoon, good morning, good evening from myself, Ewan, Spence, here in the studios of The Interview. And today, the studio is actually the archive, because the show here is about interesting, exciting and engaging stories. Now, some of those will be brand new interviews, some of them will be from the archives over my 2 decades of podcasting. And for this episode of The Interview, we're going to go back to April 2014 when I spoke to Conchita Wurst. A month after this interview, Conchita is going to win the Eurovision Song Contest for Austria. The song Rise Like a Phoenix, becoming an anthemic song. They become a figure of hope for the LGBTQ community and a hero to countless millions more. That April, every April before the song contest, is the time of the preview concerts, the sort of warm-up circuit before the big event in May. So Conchita's first appearance was going to be at the massive Eurovision in Concert preview show held in Amsterdam. I spoke to Conchita in the hours before that debut, the first time that the Eurovision audience would hear the song live. It was essentially the calm before the storm. On the cusp of stardom, this is The Interview. Eurovision in Concert. It is busy, it is hectic, it's sometimes very difficult to actually sit down and find out something about the artists. So what you have to do is, when they're taking a taxi out to the hotel, hope they're not watching and jump in the taxi when they're not looking. Sounds good, but we arranged this beforehand, didn't we?
Hello, yeah. Actually, we're sitting in a cab on our way to the hotel, and thank you for joining us.
Indeed. So if you hear noises of an engine or tram bells are going on, consider it audio wallpaper. There we go. Ewan Spence here for ESC Insight and a chance to go in depth with Conchita Wurst. Welcome to the show, Conchita.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's not the first time.
Yes.
Let's start back in 2012. I leave Heathrow Airport 3 hours before the Austrian national final starts and sprint all over Europe to see you come second.
Yes, I did. I did very, very close to become to finish with the first place. But anyhow, it is what it is, and actually I wasn't bitter or something like that, because I learned so much during this time.
There was a certain serenity you had on stage, which was, I came to the show, I said what I wanted to say, and now I'll move on with my life.
Yes, totally. And it's like that. And it actually is very similar this time, Of course, I'm now in the competition, in the big thing I always wanted to be part of. But it is the same, because, of course, people ask me, do you think you're going to win? What are your expectations? And so on. And actually, I really just wish for myself, because I'm my worst critic, I wish for myself to go off stage and say, well done. And this would, for me, the biggest gift of all, if I can say to myself, it with any ranking or, any place I will get, that I did a good job.
Was That's Who I Am a well done?
No.
Why?
No. The second time, yeah, but the first time for me wasn't that good. The second time was okay, but I would never say. Actually, it's a lie when I'm going to say well done, because I always find something.
I remember asking you at the time, would you have another go at Eurovision? And it was obviously right after you'd come second, and nerves and adrenaline are running high. Why have you decided to do Eurovision?
Because I always wanted to,
That's a great, nice, simple, clean answer.
Yeah, and it is, because, of course, and I get it, I don't want to say something bad, but I think there are some artists, they say they want to go to Eurovision because, of course, they have to now, because they are part of it. But, I mean it. I'm a little gay boy. And I love Eurovision since I can remember, so I really mean it. And for me, it's so I take it so seriously that I have plans during these 2 weeks where everybody at the Austrian broadcast said, well, why would you do that? Because it's so stressful. And I said, well, because I want to. I have to. That's my chance. I'm going to represent my world and my Austria, my kind of Austria, to Europe. So I take every chance that I get.
I'm a little gay boy. It's probably easier on a podcast because there's the disconnect between what your listener out there are listening to and what I'm seeing. And if we didn't say the look, if we just played this on the radio, which I've done a couple of times, there is that moment when people realise what sort of act you are, or what persona or character. How do you describe it?
Well, I created this bearded lady as a stage persona. It's like, like when Beyonce says she's Sasha Fierce on stage, it's like the same with me. There's Tom as a private person, and there is Conchita, the working queen, and this is what it's all about. I always say I'm a working drag queen and a very lazy boy at home. So
is there? No, let's try that another way. How much of Tom is in the character on stage?
The voice, 100%.
As in the singing voice?
Yeah, the singing voice is 100% Tom. There's no. Actually, there's no. There is a bit of Conchita because we learned from another during the years. I really learned so many things. What I changed in my working life and in my private life, because I don't know why. I can't even explain it. It's just what it is. But the singing voice is and was Tom.
And is it Tom that had the love for Eurovision, or is it part of the Conchita character, or is it blending together?
No, it's definitely started with Tom. After these 3 years I'm doing this, I always have been a part of Tom, but he didn't give me a name for a long time, and that's I'm a bit bitter about that. But anyway. You know what I mean? I think we really grew up together in a sort of way. But back in the days, Conchita was like in the fantasy world, and now Tom is more the person in the background, and Conchita is outgoing and doing her thing.
So who am I talking to just now when you say Tom is and Conchita is?
Well, it depends on, but I always see the easiest way would be what you see is what you get. So
right. So I'm talking to Conchita now because you're in the costume, the persona.
Yeah. I'm in my full, gorgeousness.
So what do I have to do to talk to Tom then? What does Tom think of the Eurovision and the razzmatazz and the crowds and the adulation from afar?
Well, actually the same, because I'm the boss. No, of course, this is just, as I said before, this is just a team, and it's just working together, and he thinks the same what Conchita thinks, totally.
Well, is there any point where Tom suddenly pops up and says, "No, Conchita, don't do that"?
Not immediately. But this is the thing when I'm a worst critic, because Tom watches Conchita on YouTube or television, and these are the things when Tom says to me, "Don't do that ever again."
And what about Conchita? Does she ever speak to Tom? Do you have this lovely sort of dialogue in your head when you're trying to decide?
I do. But Conchita is really more. She's a very serious person, but in our lives, Conchita got the funny part, the glamour part, all this attention and these events. And Tom is paying the bills, doing laundry and washing, the dishes. And I think my fun part, also as a private person, is more Conchita than Tom.
Is there a private Conchita that you keep back for at home?
No.
Everything is there.
Everything is there.
And I know that we've talked about the costume, the persona, and everything is there, but is there ever any point, or in previously where suddenly Conchita disappears. You're on stage and it was Tom on stage.
Not really, because I just realized that I felt back in the day when I was 17 and did my first appearance on TV, I realized that being Tom on stage is okay, but being Conchita on stage is even better.
Can I hear Tom?
He talks the same.
He does talk the same. Yeah. There's a slight inflection, because I've only ever seen the Conchita, the public facing.
Yeah.
Is it also almost like a safety valve, a place where in this madness you can, the phrasing here is awful, but escape back to Tom?
Oh, it's so much. It's a bit escaping. It's a bit shelter. It's a bit. I can express myself better. It's so many different pieces, and so many different pieces. So a big part is because of my teenage time, and I think we most of the gay community have similar stories. So I think everybody can relate on that, and for me it was just the right way to put my fantasy out and put my style out and put this character out who I wanted to be, in similar parts of my life. And I decided that I deserve a fabulous life, and if I want to be a bearded lady, I'm allowed to do that. And this is really the message I want to transport, because you can look whatever you like if you're fine with that. Nobody got the right to discriminate you.
What I found amazing was when I was at the Austrian national final was the amount of males and especially females in the audience who painted their own beards on to support you.
Yes, and we keep going. Actually, we got a YouTube video out. It's called Happiness, Knitting for Tolerance, and there's a little thing going on. There's this little YouTube video which is called Happiness, Knitting for Tolerance, and everybody's invited to knit their own beards, and we want to...
I love the fact your manager's got one there ready.
Yeah, he got one. I think it suits him very well. And we want to give them to the audience in Copenhagen, and, to show that you can have a beard as a lady or a man.
I think there might be quite a few people in the audience who have beards, but there we go, might mean something else. Let's talk about Copenhagen, let's talk about the song, let's talk about Rise Like a Phoenix. The message is right there in front of you, isn't it? It starts from the title.
It is. It's really, I'm so lucky. I got 100 songs, and to have a song which I love in a musical way. I'm totally into this theme stuff. I love James Bond. I love Shirley Bassey. This is what I want. This is the background where I came from. And beside that I love this theatrical perfume of the song.
Talk us through how it worked. ORF announced you back in September, October as going to be the singer. Did you have the song at that point, or was there then a huge audition process for the songs?
Well, they announced it, and after that, the whole Europe started to send me songs. And actually, Rise Like a Phoenix came very, very late, so that's why we really needed till the deadline to finish it.
Okay, let's go for it. First time it plays. Where are you? Set the scene.
I'm sitting on my couch. I got the mail from Renee, who is my manager. We actually had some kind of favorites, so we got these songs and thought, well, yeah. In my mind, I thought, well, it's too late because I already have my favorites. And then I heard Rise Like a Phoenix, and I sat there on my sofa, and I heard after second 2 I knew this is what I want, and this is the song I need to sing.
So it must have had demo vocals on it then?
Yes.
Male or female?
I think it was a black woman. She sounded very enormous good.
Have you ever met her?
No, unfortunately not, but the demo singer was incredible, and she really sold it. So and I heard this song, and I have to be honest, of course we were thinking about these 100 songs. What's going to work on Eurovision? Is there a song which we can play on radio? All these things. And then I heard this one, and I was like, okay, now we got a problem, because it's not a radio number. Nobody wrote it from my team, and it's completely how can I say? Yeah, it's so far away from the in team, and everything you think about when you put out a song. And I sat there and I said to myself, well, now what I'm gonna do now? I wrote back to Renee that this is a sensation, and this is actually the best song I've heard so far. And I thought that everybody would be like, okay, but listen, we can't do a James Bond. We just can't do that, and nobody's gonna buy it, nobody's gonna play it. This is just not in my mind. Everybody who I played this song to said, this is your song. I don't know if it's gonna work. Everybody said the same. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it is your song. Everybody who knows you knows that this is your song. And that's right. And I made this decision, and if it was clever or not, I don't care, because it was my heart decision. And
what did Tom think?
The same. Totally the same, because it's just a circle. I don't know, was it 2007 or something? I finished second at the Austrian, let's say Austrian Got Talent, like a casting show, and I finished second after Nadine Weiler. And in the finals, I sang Goldfinger from Shirley Bassey, and 2 weeks before I sang This Is My Life from Shirley Bassey. And you just saw back then that this is my kind of music, and this is my style. And yeah, I just came back to the roots, I came back to the roots of Tom, and that was the point when both met musically, because that's what I am, was more Conchita than Tom. And now, after these years, how can I say, the two of us melted together even more than we did at the beginning. And so now we got our James Bond theme song.
Was there a temptation just to get a bass guitar and put those 4 notes just at the very end of the track and just send a little bit of John Barry in?
Oh, you mean that?
Just put a little bit of bow, 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 bow. Just sneak it in at the end.
Oh, what is it? It's 'cause you're my flame.
I think it works, but that might just be me.
Oh, I think it works too. So, because I love it, I really love it, and that's why I don't really care, because I love it that much.
So we're nearly at your hotel now, so let's finish up.
There.
Yeah, I know you're going to be intensely focused, and you're going to be taking a day at a time and just going through the checklist, but there must be part of both of you inside that is thinking, I get to do the song contest next.
Yeah, there are these moments appearing more often nowadays, but I think the closer the song contest will get, the more nervous I will get.
Any final thoughts? Yes. A lot of people listening now. What are you hoping for? What you said right back at the start, there's a level where it's a win for me. Right now, what are you thinking your win would be from Eurovision?
My win would be, first of all, maybe changing some minds, and second, be proud of myself.
I think we can clearly see the second is there and the first is up for the rest of Europe. Conchita and Tom, who's in there somewhere, thank you for your time. You're at your hotel. You need to get ready to go out on stage. I need to convince the taxi driver to take me back into town now.
Yes, thank you so much.
And Ren needs to take his beard off.
Yes.
It's off. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, we finally got the manager on tape. Got it.
Thank you
Ewan
so
Spence,
much.
ESCinsight.com. Your comments are welcome back on the website. Conchita, have fun. That's my bottom rule in wins and everything. If you come away and you had fun, win.
I will try to have fun.
Don't try, do.
I will have fun.
Better. Like that attitude. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Bye for now. Conchita there, an interview recorded hours before their debut on the international stage with Rise Like a Phoenix, Austria's entry for the Eurovision Song Contest 2014, which would go on to win, and Conchita a place in the zeitgeist for decades to come. You'll find more details at conchitawurst.com. Link will be back in our show notes. Details on the latest release and the music, Any Day From Now On, was released in May just past. That's available on all your digital musical streaming and download platforms. As always, if you can, like, love, share and subscribe to the interview. It's very much appreciated. All of that will help people find the show. But for now, it's time for the great big ominous voice, because that was the interview. You've been listening to The Interview, a Spence Media production, hosted by Ewan Spence. Find out more at ewanspence.co.uk.